Twice a week, Van Lathan and Rachel Lindsay dissect the biggest topics in Black culture, politics, and sports on their show, Higher Learning. They discuss the most important and timely conversations while also frequently inviting guests on the podcast and occasionally debating each other. Check out Higher Learning on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
This episode is brought to you by eBay Authenticity Guarantee. eBay knows that when it comes to jewelry, authenticity is the real gem. When you see the blue check mark that says Authenticity Guarantee, it means your next piece will be carefully inspired by jewelry experts and will always be worth its weight in gold. Whether you're looking to make a statement or build the perfect everyday look, eBay is making sure you get the real deal. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that jaw-dropping piece will always arrive jaw-droppingly real. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms. This episode is brought to you by Visible. Maybe you've already let your New Year's resolution slip. We all have, but you can still make a 2 year's resolution with Visible. Right now, you can get a one-line wireless plan from Visible for just $20 per month for 24 months. 24 months is basically 4 Bachelor seasons. That could be 4 engagements, 4 broken engagements. So many other couples we didn't see coming. It's really an eternity in Bachelor Nation. And that's unlimited 5G data powered by Verizon with no annual contracts. Switch now at Visible.com and use the code VISIBLE24. Don't miss out. Offer ends January 31st. New members only. Promotional rate with service on the Visible plan. For additional terms and network management practices, see Visible.com.
I don't really care if Hillary Duff is disappointed in my dollhouse abilities or the girls are a little miffed. Like, ultimately, I'm here to date Clayton. Want to go chat?
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll fill you in on the progress.
I was gonna
here.
say, I was gonna come check the progress, but we can go talk.
It's not, the prognosis isn't great, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I see, like, we got the walls up.
I'm not here to build a dollhouse, I'm here to build a relationship. A dollhouse.
Welcome to Bachelor Party. I'm Juliet Litman. I am here with Callie Curry. Hi, Callie.
Hello.
I just want to wish you congratulations on Euphoria returning. I know that you're just like so excited. How was it? How was the premiere?
Thank you so much. The premiere exceeded all my expectations beyond. Like,
wow.
I was expecting a 10 out of 10 and they delivered like a 50 out of 10. I can't co-sign Euphoria enough if you have not. First of all, only if you're over 18. But if you have not watched it, you've got to watch it. It is so good. And I already was obsessed with it, as you pointed out. And then they added my celebrity crush to it last night.
Who?
And I didn't know they were adding him.
Who is it?
Big Meech, who is a big drug dealer, or was a big drug dealer. He's now in prison. His son.
Oh, cool. Okay.
He is also the star of BMF on Stars, which was a great show, which was about his dad's life. And he played his dad in it and was incredible. And now he's on Euphoria. And I had no idea that he was going to be on it. So it was a pleasant surprise to see him.
I was glad that you were going so hard for Euphoria on Instagram because it made me feel less self-conscious about how hard I was going for Klay Thompson. So I was just good.
I feel like mine was more acceptable, but yeah.
But mine was like my personal brand. I just like, I don't know. Just you have to like own your territory. So it was a big night for Claytheus everywhere. And he played well. I was really worried he was going to get hurt again, but at least one game.
Isn't that weird? Imagine how he feels.
Oh my God. I can't even imagine.
The first play of the game when he like drove and like threw up that shot, I was like, how is that your first play? Take your time. Ease
so much
into
contact. Oh my God. And then when he dunked and he landed, I was so worried he was like, somebody's just going to break, but we made
bounced
it through
right
game.
up. Totally fine.
I loved it. It was great.
It was good. Very emotional.
Oh my God. I cried. Did I cry at the tip off? Yes, I did. Whatever.
I didn't cry, but I was like, wow, this is like, it was 941 days. That's a long fucking time.
It was Trump was president. We didn't know anything about the pandemic. It was like a totally different time. Like
better times? I'm not sure. I don't know.
I don't know either, but it was really exciting. Anyway, that's update from our passions. Let's talk about Clayton.
A different Clay.
A different Clay. I wonder if he goes by Clay. I feel like if you don't and your name is Clayton, like that's like a big choice. Like my name is Clayton, not Clay. It's like a Maxwell who goes by Maxwell, not Max.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, I don't know. Maxwell's a harder name than Clayton. I feel like Clayton seems like a short name. I don't know. Even though Maxwell might be shorter. I don't know. But
I think they're the same.
I don't think he goes by Clay. I think he goes by Clayton.
Yeah. It seems like he does.
But I wonder if he was Clay. And because Clay seems like, a more playful kid's name.
Clay's a cute name. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's also kind of like a hot guy name. And I no longer find Clayton hot, I have to say. It was a mirage for 1 week where I was like, oh, he's attractive. The way they dressed him this week was so poor in those shorts.
I think he's cute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He seems like a nice guy, honestly. Although we'll get into it, but like he just talks like a coach. I just feel like he doesn't know how to relate to people outside of like football speak. And when he was talking to Teddy and he's like, I have such high expectations for you. It's like, what? Is she like a top 10 draft pick? Like it was really weird.
Also, I wrote this down in my notes. He said it to multiple girls on this episode. He would say, I like the effort out of you.
Yeah.
And I was like, the effort out of you? What? Like, it does seem like I didn't think of him as a football coach. I was just like, that's a really weird sentence to keep saying to people. But now that you say that, that's very much what a coach would say to you. Mm-hmm. Love your effort.
Yeah. It's like, okay, you might be insane and you might be taking this all too seriously, but I love your effort. You're showing up for me.
I thought it was very weird, but now it's all making sense.
Yeah, it all comes back to football with The Bachelor. It always does.
That was probably though a huge chunk of his life revolved around football. Yeah.
Yeah, like probably over half his life, and he even
like 75-80% of his life.
Yeah. Even to make it to a practice squad, which I malign a lot on this podcast, is pretty impressive. Like you have to be very good for that. So, I mean,
yeah. And you definitely took football seriously in college, which means that you were like,
yeah. He was on a Division I SEC team. He got a scholarship. I mean, that's like really intense. He's 28.
Yeah, I guess he was in the SEC.
He was. We've been told he wasn't, but he was. Although I'm glad you brought that up because Missouri wasn't always SEC.
That's what I was saying. I didn't know if he was in the SEC when he was there, but 28, I think he was.
I think he was too.
I think it changed the year after me. I'm almost positive. So that was 2012.
It's an SEC world. We're just living in it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Stupid national championship game.
Can't wait for tonight.
Let's get into this episode. Callie, my first question for you. Do you care about Hilary Duff? Like, is that meaningful to you?
Would I be like, oh my God? No, but like, I like Hilary Duff. Like, I watched Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah, so they had in the card, I wondered if the women understood that like the date card had a Lizzie McGuire reference and it was like, this is what dreams are made of. That's from the Lizzie McGuire movie, which I've seen many times, which is an entertaining movie.
What's the average age, do we think?
Of these women?
Yeah.
26, 27.
Average age, you think?
Well, there's a couple outliers. So there's a couple people in their 30s. So I think like pull it up a little bit. But I think like the median age is probably like 25.
I thought it was like 27. But still, then maybe they don't. Like, is that like, I don't know. Was Lizzie McGuire a thing for them? Probably not, right?
No, I think they would have been really young for that. But I'm like, maybe I was too old for Lizzie McGuire. I don't know. I did watch Younger though, which it was Hilary Duff's show.
Oh my gosh.
Great
Love
show.
that show.
Me too.
Yeah.
Horrible finale. One of the worst finales in the history of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But great show. I just thought it was like, she just must have been like, yeah, I love The Bachelor. Sure. I'd love to know how much they pay her. Like dying to know how much she gets for one day of work.
Do they get paid?
Oh, she must. I don't think Hilary Duff's doing that for free. She wasn't promoting anything.
Yeah, I know. But I wonder if she just does it for like fun because she's a huge Bachelor fan.
I highly doubt it. If I'm a celebrity, I'm not doing that for free. Even if I'm a huge fan.
By the way, Cassidy's only 26. So like, how do you know Hilary Duff?
She said it was her first concert.
I don't know if I believe that.
Cassidy is bonkers. We got to talk about the date.
By the way, hold on. Before we go into the date, can I just say, this is the Bachelor that I know and love, and I am very much back in my happy Bachelor place.
I agree. It feels good to have Cassidy not understand that participating in the date is part of the show. I loved it.
She's not getting paid, Juliet.
She's not here to build dollhouses. And by the way, if that's a dollhouse, it's really huge. I love that. Also, I liked how they made a big deal about being back in the house. It was like a different type of shot. However, it made the house look really shitty. You're like, oh, this is a shitty house because it's been ruined by production over many years. Like, Devon, our producer, pointed out in a Slack channel that like the exterior like really needed a paint job. And like all the furniture is so tacky. It's very like 2005.
I think the best the Bachelor house looks is night one.
Yeah.
When it's dim lights, like it's very like a candlelit house.
Yeah. It's kind of like a bad date. It's like looked pretty good at night, and then the next morning you're like, ooh, well, I guess there was some beer goggles going on or whatever. But it's just like it looks
they're
really
just happy
bad.
to be there.
I know, and they made such a big deal about it. We're the first women to move back into the house. I kind of liked it though. I was glad to be back.
I'm very glad to be back, but like if I were one of them, would I care about that? No,
not at all. But I did appreciate
I'd be
everyone
like,
playing
I'm
along.
counting the days till we get to go on our first trip. Hope I make it.
I know. Hope we get to make it out of here. And then Jesse Palmer introduced himself to the women. I think a lot of them had no idea who he was, even though he was there on night one.
Yeah, I didn't know who he was.
Yeah,
like had to look him up.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I thought it was weird because I feel like they made it seem like he got married off the show, which he didn't.
I know. I think they tried to imply that. No, he definitely did not.
I Googled it afterwards because I was like, wait, he got married off the show? And then I Googled it and I was like, no.
He got married like a year and a half ago or something like that.
But I felt like they tried to make it seem like he did. So
absolutely. He was like, let me tell you, marriage, not easy. Like he was talking about it like it was his bachelor thing. And I was like, okay, whatever though. Jesse, he's working for me. I love it.
Me too.
Just like how he's just sort of like, this is how I know Jesse's good. At the end of the episode, I was like, I'd like a little bit more Jesse Palmer. Like, give me a little bit more.
I feel like they're barely giving us, like they've chopped him down to like the shortest version.
Yeah, probably because there's a lot of other drama, so they don't really need him. But hopefully we'll get more of him as the season progresses. But it's better to want more than to feel like you have too much.
Yeah, I think the feedback from Tayshia and Caitlin, plus the season is going just so well that they don't need him. But the combination of the two has made him like almost invisible.
I know. All right. So this first date, after we see the glamour shots of the home, they go to a house in Beverly Hills, which I bet was not actually in Beverly Hills, even though they said it was. I just have a feeling it wasn't.
There's a lot of land for Beverly Hills.
Yeah, a lot. And I was sort of like, where is this? Like, where exactly is this? Maybe on the other side of the Beverly Hills hill? I don't know. But even so, like it would be like an expensive day of production. Hard to get everything up there too. Whatever. Anyway, they go to a house and then it's a kid's birthday party and it's someone named Maya's birthday. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maya didn't get to speak to the camera at any point. I was just like, where is Maya? Who is Maya? Did they make her up?
No, we saw Maya. Remember when she was like, it has my name on it about the cake?
Oh, yeah. But that was like the only time, right?
Yeah,
like
that was the only time.
There was so little
also, I was
Maya.
like, who is Maya?
I know. And like, was it actually her birthday? Is it like someone's kid who works on the show?
At first, I was like, there's no way Hillary Duff is putting her kids on this. And then, yeah, it wasn't. But it was confusing for a second there.
It was also just so random. Like, why? Because the one thing we know about Clayton is that he interacted with children in Michelle's season. They're going to like run it back. And then the kids barely did anything.
Yeah. Can I also say, literally no one, I don't care what your profession is, no one sees 30 kids jacked up on candy and says, I'm so excited to see the kids. No, you're not. That's a lie. Also, not your kid. Like, 30 kids.
Literally
like,
random kids.
Random kids that are high off candy. No, you're not excited to see them.
I don't understand the concept of this date. Like, it just didn't really make any sense. Like, okay, so you're doing something for kids but barely interacting with them. I guess they interact with them more than we got to see.
They had to have. I think Cassidy just had kept pulling him. So obviously they're going to show that.
Right.
But
right.
Remember when she said, when she was talking to, I think, was it Mara? It might have been Mara, who
I
was
like
like,
Mara.
okay, yeah, you had Clayton for 30 minutes. What were you doing for the other 3 hours? So they were there for 3.5 hours. So we didn't see a lot of the time that they were
right. And like Clayton in the clown suit, which we saw at the very end. I would have liked that a little bit more. I was like,
Me
would
too,
have just been
actually.
fun.
They were like, tell us a joke. And he was like, oh, I don't have any.
He was like, I'm not good on the spot.
By the way, I was like, I don't know what I would have said. All the jokes are like inappropriate. I have no idea what I would say for a 10-year-old joke.
I guess I would go with like a knock knock joke.
Yeah,
that
the
would be
only
so
one
lame.
I could think of was like, why did the chicken cross the road?
Yeah. Or like, knock knock.
Who's there?
Orange.
Orange who?
Orange, you glad I didn't say blank? Like that's the only joke that I have, and that's really lame.
Aren't you glad I didn't say Blake?
Well, you say like something. It's like, aren't you glad I didn't say blank? I don't even know how the joke ends.
Oh, blink. I thought you were saying Blake. I was like, who's Blake?
No, I'd have to make it up in the end. I'd have to make it up, I guess.
Aren't you glad I didn't say Cassidy?
Yeah. Okay, so Cassidy pulls him several times, deeply upsetting Gabby. Cassidy and Gabby were supposed to collab on putting together some kind of like playhouse. Those kids looked too big for the playhouse, and it was too big to be a dollhouse. So I was very confused. But Gabby was really upset, and Gabby's kind of my MVP of this date. She is wacky. She is a weird person, and I like it. She was like, I don't even remember what my wishes are.
Clayton like doesn't seem to get the loopiness though.
No, he doesn't.
Like he's
all.
like, our connection is getting better. She's so fun. Like, what?
I know. Everyone.
I don't know if he has a good radar in general.
Me neither.
Because Cassidy getting the rose, Shanae getting like a mention. I was just like, you're not reading the room well.
He doesn't seem to like have a good sense of anything, to be honest. Like, and he's also so surprised. His surprise mad face is my favorite thing about Clayton. Like when he like does like this like serious like squints his eyes a little bit and like looks forward out into the abyss, and he's just like angry. I love it, Jesse.
Like when Sally denied his rose.
Yes, when Sally denied his rose, and then when he found out about Cassidy having a friends with benefits. I just want to say, well, we'll come back to that. They overreacted, but in general, Gabby was my MVP of the date because she was so pissed. But number 2, very close second, was Genevieve, who was very upset about her cake getting smashed.
Yeah.
Do you still think Genevieve is going far?
I do still think Genevieve is going far. I actually liked Genevieve in this episode. I just didn't understand why no one, and I get it. If I was on the show, I'm not going to be the one that like tells on someone because those people always go home. But I'm like, someone has got to say something about Cassidy. She's crazy. And no one said anything.
I was surprised that no one did, to be honest, because they were like so aggravated by her. But I think it's kind of good strategy to not say anything because now
I know
there's no way. Who tattled on her? I believe it was
on Cassidy. No one did.
Yeah, no, at the very end, Sierra.
Oh, yes, at the very, very end. I meant like after the date. Like, why wasn't anyone like, she didn't help with anything? She literally told the kids that she doesn't like kids.
And she said, I try to stay away from you people as much as possible. That was so funny. I guess honest.
Mm-hmm. Very honest. But like her sitting on the bench while everyone else was like doing something. And then she like didn't comprehend like the fact that you guys are mad at me for not hanging a lot of streamers. I'm like, you're not connecting. You're not getting it.
Do you think she's actually like that? Because now we're at the point. This is the only problem with The Bachelor.
I know.
Now, not the only one, but a problem is I'm just like, does Cassidy know what she's doing? Like she has to, right?
I don't know, because then like there's times where I'm like, are they a plant? Like what's going on? But then you see them on Paradise and you're like, wait, that's really how they are?
It just seemed like she is there to like feel like she's in charge. I mean, the advice she was giving to Shanae, that was
Jesus,
so funny. We'll come back to Shanae.
So bad. It was so bad. But
Shanae, when Shanae did the nay and Ziwe loving it made me love it. Ziwe was awesome. Like she was really fun.
She was good. I liked that date. That 30 seconds though is when I texted my Bachelor group chat and was like, this is what I signed up for.
It was so funny.
Like, I love the cringe moments. Like,
She
do you
was
remember
so
when
bad.
Matt was dancing with no music
Yes.
and was doing a TikTok dance? Like,
Yeah.
those moments are my favorite.
I know. And she was so bad at the whip portion of the nene. She was like, okay at the nene part.
She
but the
was
whip
going
portion was
hard.
awful. Hard. And she thought, and it was like winning though. It was charming. It was cringe, but it was charming.
Okay, I'll give it like if I was Clayton, I'd be like, okay, that's cool that she felt confident enough to do that. Like, it's cute-ish. But like her facial expressions, and she did it for like, I would have done it like
a long
maybe,
time.
Yeah, like 20 seconds too long. It only needed to be 10 seconds.
I don't think that I could just start doing that. But because I'm not really on TikTok. I probably if I were her,
money to watch you stand up in front of a group of people and whip and nene. That would be my favorite. I would love to see that.
I mean, there's a price. If you want me to name my price, I'll let you know. I'd be willing.
My goodness. I mean, I would have probably not. I probably would have done what Elizabeth did when he asked her to freestyle. I would have been like, I'll do it eventually. Not now, but I'll do it eventually one day. Like when I'm blacked out.
He clearly hates Elizabeth. When Elizabeth was like, never have I ever kissed the Bachelor. And he's like, okay, we could change that. He clearly was like, anything to get her to stop talking and just made out with her.
Wait, seriously? I think he likes her.
I don't think so. I think he is not into her.
I don't know. I mean, he definitely wants to believe Shanae.
Yeah.
So
Shanae's coming out.
Maybe he doesn't like her.
I don't think he does.
I actually don't. Like, I have no issues with Elizabeth, and I find her to be like pretty tolerable. Like the stuff that she's saying, I'm like she's not overdoing it. She's not trying to engage. Like, I feel like that's how a normal person would approach some of the things that she's approaching.
Totally. And I mean, if you tell someone like in casual conversation that you have ADHD and then they tell everyone on television, I'd be really pissed. It's like not cool. That's just messed up. And it's not like it's such like a stigma. I do think it's like a fairly common diagnosis, but it's like, it's just not your story to tell. Like, just,
no.
Shanae,
also, she was trying to like
yourself.
weaponize it against her.
Yeah. I liked how Shanae was then like, I have ADHD. She reminded me of Ramona, where she was just like,
very.
not getting it.
Insane Ramona energy.
So much Ramona energy. Like,
yeah.
She was making it worse, didn't understand why she was being offensive, just kind of like kept going. And Ramona would similarly, when Nene, I'm just gonna call her Nene. When Nene, otherwise too long. When Nene said like to the question of never have I ever been judged, and she said I have, and then her explanation was, when I first got here, I didn't really feel comfortable, but I feel like Shanae is like coming out now, and like it's my personality getting more comfortable. I was like, do you know what it means like to be judged? Like that's what Ramona would do, is like take this to like just
talk
change
about
the subject.
herself.
Talk about herself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
She doesn't get it. Also, when she kept doing her like interviews and was like, I don't know if you've heard, but she has ADHD. I'm like, yeah, bitch, because you keep saying it. No one else is saying it. She said it
from you
one time. You're the one that keeps telling everyone.
I like how like it seems like Mara, Kira, and Genevieve seem like and Kate seem like kind of like the enforcers. They're like, it's not cool. Stop talking about how she has ADHD.
By the way, I
liked
thought
that.
Kate came across very like intelligent, normal. Like she was like, what is happening? And then she even said like, if I don't get time with him because of this, I'm going to be annoyed.
Yeah.
And then that's exactly what happened. Like
Kate is what's everything that's wrong with dating in Los Angeles. The fact that Kate needs to go on The Bachelor to date someone, even though she's like seems cool, pretty normal, smart
great
enough,
job.
pretty like great job. Just like the fact that she needs The Bachelor is everything that's wrong with dating in LA. I'm sorry, Kate. Go to a different city.
Also,
like
she's getting zero time with Clayton because she's not acting like a crazy person.
Yeah, because she seems fun. Like I liked her personality. I also. The women who said they had never sent nudes during Never Have I Ever, I just don't believe that. I'm sorry. I think that's a lie. They just like probably didn't want their parents to think that they had it.
Yeah, maybe.
It's such like a central part of. I just feel like it's just like young people do that. It's like not really a big deal.
I also just feel like the age range that they're in, like you probably sent nudes because you didn't realize like how bad it was to do it at that time. Like I hope that I scare my daughter enough to know not to do it. But
tell
like
her never include her face.
Yeah. Well, or just don't do it. But when I was 15, I didn't know that.
I don't think technology had
around.
advanced enough when I was at 15. Yeah.
Or 16. I don't know what age it was, but I'm just saying like it wasn't around enough to know like don't do that.
They actually ask good questions though. Like the questions, shout out to Devon, our producer, who wrote all this down for us so I don't have to get it wrong because I often get things wrong. And I know we skipped a lot of Cassidy. We'll come back to it at the end. Or not at the end, but we're done with this. Anyway, the questions were never have I ever sent a nude photo. Never have I ever faked an orgasm. Obviously all the women have. Like that's just sort of standard. Never have I ever cheated on my boyfriend.
It's just part of life.
It is. And never have I ever felt judged by another woman in the house. And that's what Shanae didn't understand. But I was like, I'm sure there were some other questions, but those are the ones that we saw. I was like, that's like actually, that's like a good use of time on The Bachelor. Thank you.
I would say that never have I ever felt judged by a woman in the house. Great question. Too early.
Yeah. Yeah. Save it for a little bit later when they've had more time to interact with each other.
Yeah, they're all like, we're besties. I'm like, yeah okay. Wait.
They do seem to like each other. It seems like a pretty good group, to be honest.
Outside of, well, this is all, I feel like they do this every time. Like so far, Shanae and Cassidy are the only crazies, but we'll see what happens.
I think Elizabeth is crazy too. Like just for getting into this drama. And listen, what is she supposed, she didn't even know, like, I don't even know how you avoid it. I understand. And I don't want to stigmatize her for her having ADHD. I think it's really common. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And also like, people have plenty of illnesses or whatever. But when she was like, sorry, because of my ADHD, I'm having a hard time with these inputs. Like she's like, I can't, that may be true, but I don't know that I would tell like a stranger who's basically like picking a fight with me that's why I'm having a hard time. I would just be like, I would maybe voice it differently. And nothing wrong with that. But like, why even give that information?
I feel
to
like
this
she
person?
was trying to validate her experience. Like, maybe I did do that. I don't realize that I did, but if I did, it's probably because of this. I'm sorry. Like, she handled it perfectly. She said, like, I'm not saying that you're making it up. I'm sorry for what I'm doing. Then when they got back into the room and she thought about the whole conversation, she was like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I was just gaslit.
I just think I guess their controversy will continue. But yeah, she was gaslit. That's a good point. I don't know. I think Elizabeth seems bad too.
I also am like, did that even happen? I feel like Shanae is just trying to find something wrong with Elizabeth because she thought Elizabeth and Clayton had a connection. Like, it could have been anyone.
Yeah. It's because Elizabeth was sitting next to him and Shanae was sitting next to no one, which I thought was funny too.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, replace Elizabeth with anyone and she would have made up something else about someone else.
Yeah. She knocked Elizabeth off the obstacle course. I loved it. The obstacle course was great. Although I will say another thing, these women don't understand what a red flags are. Like, Elizabeth herself can't be a red flag, essentially. like
she's like, you told Clayton I was a red flag?
That's not what a red flag is. Like, just to be clear, I don't think anyone understands. But
also, her not being nice to you is not a red flag for Clayton.
Right. It's fine. That's the way it goes. Not everyone's gonna like each other. Just move on.
Also, being two-faced is not looking at you.
It's true. It might be looking at you too much. It's the opposite.
Like, I was like, well, so what did she do that was two-faced? You're not explaining.
No, she didn't explain it all. I was not surprised that Sarah got the group date rose.
Oh yeah,
seems
cute.
Like, yeah, she's cute. Seems mild-mannered. Seems like a good breath of fresh air compared to Nene and Elizabeth. She just seems like I could see her going really far.
Mm-hmm, me too. She seems like
everyone likes her. Yeah, she seems pretty nice. And like
in general, seems like Clayton is drawn, minus Cassidy, drawn to sweethearts. Like, like really like cute, sweet.
Yeah, Susie was similar.
Same vibes. As Susie.
Susie, aka Hannah Brown. They look so much alike. It's nuts.
Scary.
It's like too much, honestly.
I couldn't stop thinking about Hannah Brown watching her date.
I know. I think Susie seems like another front runner. They had a really good date.
Mm-hmm.
This episode is brought to you by Visible. Maybe you've already let your New Year's resolution slip. We all have, but you can still make a 2 years resolution with Visible. Right now, you can get a one-line wireless plan from Visible for just $20 per month for 24 months. 24 months is basically 4 Bachelor seasons. That could be 4 engagements, 4 broken engagements. So many other couples we didn't see coming. It's really an eternity in Bachelor Nation. And that's unlimited 5G data powered by Verizon with no annual contracts. Switch now at Visible.com and use the code Visible24. Don't miss out. Offer ends January 31st. New members only. Promotional rate with service on the Visible plan. For additional terms and network management practices, see Visible.com. This episode is brought to you by eBay Authenticity Guarantee. eBay knows that when it comes to jewelry, authenticity is the real gem. When you see the blue check mark that says Authenticity Guarantee, it means your next piece will be carefully inspired by jewelry experts and will always be worth its weight in gold. Whether you're looking to make a statement or build the perfect everyday look, eBay is making sure you get the real deal. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that jaw-dropping piece will always arrive jaw-droppingly real. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit eBay.com for terms.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You might say all kinds of stuff when things go wrong, but these are the words you really need to remember. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. They've got options to fit your unique insurance needs, meaning you can talk to your agent to choose the coverage you need. Have coverage options to protect the things you value most. File a claim right on the State Farm mobile app and even reach a real person when you need to talk to someone. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The one-on-one was he picked her up in a car and then they drove to a hilltop where a helicopter was waiting.
Can I just say something?
Yes.
I have to assume Mercedes has some sort of deal with The Bachelor.
Oh, yeah.
But like, can we get a more, a car that Clayton maybe could have?
Like, you don't think he's going to have a G-Wagon?
It's just like every season, I'm like, this is so unrealistic. G-Wagon after G-Wagon after Lamborghini. Like, what's happening?
What would be realistic for you? Like an Audi A series or like what are you imagining?
They've done Jeeps before.
Okay, sure.
I think a Jeep is a good standard car.
What do you think is like the clear, like, I was just the Bachelor. I have an influx of cash. It's not going to last for forever. What should my car be for the next 36 months? Like, what should he get?
Oh, that's a good question.
I feel like I just think you should go for a BMW if I were Clayton. Like, you can get a good deal. It's like you can find some leases that are like affordable enough for when he'll have the peak of his liquidity, which is the next 3 years. And I just feel like
I don't really get. I love cars, by the way. Love having a nice car. I don't get why. Like, a car is not where I'm going to overspend my money.
Me neither.
Like, there's very nice cars that just change the name.
Sure.
I've been in Kias that are really nice.
Yeah.
Hondas, super nice.
Yeah.
Like,
you can.
What's wrong with? I don't get it. What's wrong with that? Who are you worried about watching you drive?
I don't know. As a Mazda driver, I don't know. I love my Mazda. It's great. You can get like every feature on like a less nice car for like, and it's like just drives as well as a good car, or like a quote unquote good car.
Yeah. Also, I'm totally for just getting a Prius.
Oh yeah. I hope my next car is electric and not a Tesla, so I need everyone else to catch up. Teslas
are also great.
There's a no-go for me just in terms of lifestyle. Like, just the type of people who I just feel like
all types of Teslas though. There's like affordable affordable Teslas.
It's not about affordable or unaffordable. It's about the people who got in line to get a Tesla who are like in my dating pool that I'm just like, I don't know about you.
I had a Tesla.
But I wasn't going to date you, so it's sort of different. It's like,
are you questioning our relationship?
No, I'm just saying. And
I would rather a guy stand in line for a Tesla than like a guy that had a Hummer.
Oh, definitely. Hummers, never. Come on. Whatever. This is a whole other conversation. But anyway, they go to the top of the hill. I just want to say, I would not go on. I've been on a helicopter. I went on one in Hawaii. I would never do it again. Ever.
Also in LA?
Yeah, that's where Kobe Bryant died. No thanks.
I'm like, is that still a thing?
Apparently. And
she was hyped.
I know. It's not cool. Also, what I was most amazed by was that they tried and succeeded at having like a normal conversation on the helicopter. That's weird for a few reasons. First of all, the driver can hear you. It's like how you can, the pilot. It's like how you communicate. It's also like really loud. And also there's like so much going on. They're like talking about like, they're doing like dating icebreakers of like getting to know each other. I was like, save it for later. Maybe talk about the view. Like it was kind of weird.
How many times have you been on a helicopter?
Just once. I did in Hawaii, in Kauai, and it was really cool. But like, first of all, it was incredibly expensive and it wasn't that cool. And I would literally never do it again. I am shook for the rest of my life by Kobe Bryant's death.
I am too. Isn't that, I mean, like,
I think a lot of people feel that way.
You do? I was going to say people die crazily like all the time, right? Like
helicopters have like a high fatality rate, like as compared to other modes of transportation. And like, yes, if you need to be medevaced out of somewhere, I think you should get on a helicopter. But like just for leisure, fuck no. And for commuting around the Los Angeles area, fuck no.
No. It's a no for me too. But I just think it's interesting that like people have died in other things that I still would do. And helicopter, I'm like, yeah, no, it's a no for me.
I think a helicopter is just like almost never necessary. Like for Kobe, it was like how he got around because that was his lifestyle. But like for most people, if you're doing that, like there's got to be other ways. I don't know. I just think of it as like a real rich person's like tempting of fate, and like it's like the Roys taking a helicopter to the airport or something like that. I don't know.
The Roys.
Well, you know, every America's family, the Roy family. All right, so then they land on this yacht in Marina Del Rey, and it seemed like nice. That seems great. A hot tub on a yacht in the marina, sure, sign me up. That sounds lovely. No,
the hot tub portion's just like, eh.
You're not into hot tubs?
No.
Really? Ever?
Especially hot tubs that are used by tons of people. No.
Okay, but they have a lot of chlorine in them usually to be cleaned.
I know. It just freaks me out in general. It's such a small space.
I think that's better than like one of those random wood tubs in the middle of nowhere.
I would not like that either. Also, I was thinking like, what's the temperature?
Well, it was September. It was late September, so that's usually pretty warm in LA. So
I'm like a hot tub in warm weather.
I know. I don't get that.
Thanks.
I don't get it either. And then ultimately they jumped off the yacht into the water. That is disgusting. I cannot tell you how dirty the water is in the channel, Marina Del Rey.
Do you think they knew that?
No, there's no way. Because if you know, you don't jump in. I once fell in. I was paddleboarding and literally like, I'm really clumsy. It was one time I went whitewater rafting when I was like 13. I fell in the river before we even got in the boat. But it was really fun.
I was going to say, I feel like falling into the river while rafting is not bad. Like that happens all the time.
Yeah.
But doing it before you get in the boat is a different story.
It was embarrassing. Anyway, when I fell into the channel in Marina Del Rey, my flip-flops were like destroyed I was wearing like leather rainbow flip-flops, and they were absolutely destroyed by the like the chemicals in the water. And the clothes I was wearing, like it all had to go in the garbage. It's really dirty. Gross. They had to smell afterwards. I hope they showered right away.
Is rainbow flip-flop still a thing?
This was a few years ago, Callie. Okay.
I'm wondering because I remember in like 6th grade, it was like, you got to have a pair.
This was like, well, they are really comfortable. This was in 2013. So almost 10 years ago. Okay. They weren't a thing then, but they were like still kind of a thing.
Like on the decline, but not out.
Yeah. And
okay.
I don't know. When you live by the beach, you just feel like flip-flops.
You need a good pair of flops.
Yeah. God, you just called me out so hard.
I was wondering actually, because I don't really wear sandals anymore. Yeah, not much. But they were like, a huge thing back in the day. Uggs are making a comeback, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I feel mixed about that. I have emus. They have laces. They're similar. They are really warm. It's fucking freezing in the Northeast right now. So
it is so cold.
Whatever.
Overall,
yeah,
I feel like they got a lot of time on. Like it was a long date.
Long date. I mean,
usually they take like Cassidy a huge break. I feel like it wasn't a big
pissed.
Break.
Oh
yeah,
my
Cassidy.
God. She was like, the day starts early. Yes, they did have a lot of time together. Also, like just being on a boat like that early on in the season, I think is really like kind of lucky. Like that's awesome.
But it wasn't like they were on a helicopter. They were on a boat. they went out to dinner. Like they did a lot. Usually you get like one activity and a meal. And I think, and they got a concert.
She got it all.
Everything you could do on a date. Cassidy, not Cassidy, Jesus. Susie checked it off her list.
Yeah. Also, she told a pretty sad story about her father. But before that, when they get to the dinner portion, he's like, I'm so happy to be having my first one-on-one dinner at the Hudson Lofts. And I was just like, what the fuck is the Hudson Lofts? Then I Googled it, and it's like one of the random apartment buildings that I'm sure is like under-occupied, like very close to the arena formerly known as Staples Center. It's like 2 blocks away.
Has to be under-occupied for them to be like, you have to say our name. You can shoot here for free. We have plenty of available open apartments for you guys to have dinner in.
It looked like a great place for a shoot. I don't know that I'd want to live there, but it just seemed nice for their purposes.
I don't know. I hear that downtown LA is like on the come up a little bit. So maybe.
People have been saying that literally for 20 years. It's just...
Yeah, maybe.
It's not happening, but whatever you say, guys. Although I did go to a new mall there a few weeks ago. It was fine.
They have a mall in downtown LA now?
It's not really a mall. It's where the Alamo Draft House is. It's where the Macy's used to be. It's like a little bit of a mall. I don't know. It's okay.
I will say that the restaurant scene...
It's good.
Is amazing downtown. Yes. So
it's very good. But everything's so far apart. It's like not really walkable. Yeah. You can't like do like a bar crawl or like, oh, we're having dinner and then popping over to this bar. Okay, it's not New York.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna say that's not like, what people look for in general, but maybe if you're coming from New York.
I don't know. I just like to see what unfolds. And if you have to like drive from point A to point B, it's less fun.
It ends.
Yeah.
Ends the date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a good point about them, because also often on these one-on-one dates, like in between discrete activities, they're not usually together. But if like the date was driving to the helicopter, taking the helicopter ride, going to the boat, being on the boat, that is a really long amount of time together. So lucky
also
Susie.
Exhausting.
Yeah.
Coming from someone who barely leaves her house, watching it, I was like, I would be exhausted. This is way too much.
Definitely need a nap at some point. I hope she got one. Have 5-hour energy on hand. Anyway, then they have their dinner. She says her parents been together for 35 years, but last year her dad went into organ failure, and then he was okay, but he's recovering. That's intense. Organ failure and then recovering. I don't even know what that's like. So I hope he's okay. But they seem to really bond over family stuff.
Yeah. Also, she seemed to act like he was like pretty good now.
Yeah. I'm like, was it from COVID? I guess it happened with COVID. So who knows?
But to even go through that during COVID, probably very scary.
So scary. And then they had the private concert, which has just never been not awkward. Just seems awful. Just truly awful. So I'm really not a fan of that. They should just get rid of it. Also, I was wondering, like, did she have to quarantine? Like, I wonder.
They got to, I feel like this was like the one time where, like, the 2-month period where things were like a little bit more lax.
Mm. Yeah,
so maybe if she was vaccinated, she was fine.
Her name is Amanda Jordan. Yeah, she probably was fine. They're like all over LA and stuff. So it just is nice to like see them back doing regular stuff. All right, back to Cassidy. We sort of skipped over her. So Cassidy's like the whole episode just wreaking havoc. She's given Shanae the horrible advice. And then it comes out at the cocktail party that she has a friend with benefit that she was like FaceTiming with right before the show. And Clayton gets really upset. I don't think this is a big deal.
Well, I'm assuming they cut some of it, but the conversation they showed, because I remember, I don't know if it was like a preview or something, but like in my group chats, people are like, you can't have a fuck buddy. Like, what's the issue here?
Yeah.
But I do see an issue with her like FaceTiming him the day she goes into the house and him being like, can't wait to like watch it with you. Like that's right. Like, I just feel like that conversation's like a little weird. So then you're assuming you're not winning or you don't want to win.
Right. I bet yeah. I mean, she clearly just there for attention based on how she's acting. I love that Clayton had 3 women reject him in episode 1, and now his judgment was so poor in episode 2 that he might need to like take back a rose. Like that is just what a streak he's on. It's like the opposite of a hot streak.
He doesn't. Yeah, he needs to get it together and be able to read situations a bit better, I think.
Yeah, he doesn't really seem to have a great feel for people, but maybe he's working on it.
By the way, Michelle read it right every time.
Yeah, she really did. Michelle clearly has very high EQ. Which Bennett, who I forgot about, would be so happy. He'd just be excited for the emotional intelligence to be high.
Yeah, Clayton's, I think maybe coming from a small town too.
Yeah.
You're not aware. I don't know.
I don't know either. Maybe he's just not that bright. Who knows? Anyway, this whole Cassidy stuff, she's got to be gone next week, but she's good for this episode. I have to say, I found the Shanae and like the Susie stuff way more entertaining, but it was like a good tone setter for the episode of like, oh, okay, this is gonna be bonkers. She's nutty. Love it.
I wonder how long she lasts. Like if they actually take the rose back.
I bet she's gone next week.
You think?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
But you're like, wow, bracing yourself.
Shanae can't be gone next week, right?
I need more Shanae. I need some more of her
They
weirdness.
can't get rid of both of them.
No, definitely not. Shanae and Elizabeth haven't had their fight yet. Clip. So.
Oh, that's Elizabeth. And I knew it was Elizabeth. I didn't know Shanae was the other girl.
I believe it's Shanae. Yeah.
I mean, it would make sense. Question for you.
Yes.
Since I assume, okay, let's say Cassidy goes home next week. I don't know. For some reason, I think she might last one more week, but she's going to go home. Shanae is going to go home. Who are they going to introduce as the next villain? Who do you think it is?
Great question. Well, I could see maybe like Mara having some fights. Like it seems like she's like kind of looking to like roaring and ready to go a little bit. I don't know who else. I do think that like the other women just sort of seem like they're having fun, but she seems like a second tier villain to me. Also Kira seems very serious, so maybe her, but I don't think so. I don't know. Who do you think?
I was gonna say Genevieve.
Genevieve just seems like salty. The girl from Massachusetts who cried, or Rhode Island who cried. I think her name's Jill. I'm ready for her to go. She was ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. And she's like, why am I even here?
Yeah. I think Rachel is going to go far, and I wonder if she will turn into some kind of villain of some kind or like get into some kind of drama. I don't know.
I can see that.
Because I also think that Gabby seems like she'll get into more like, and she'll get like tangled up and stuff just because she's so spacey and weird.
She's aloof.
She's so aloof. She's so weird.
If she gets into anything, she won't know.
I know. It will take a while to register. Clayton did a 25 Things You Don't Know About Me with Us Weekly, which is like a standard thing. I just want to read through them and we'll review a few. They're so weird. Number 1, played briefly in the NFL for the Seahawks. We knew that. Covered that last week. Number 2, I love Chipotle. Could honestly eat it daily. Who doesn't love Chipotle? It's great. You don't love it?
No, I love it. I was thinking about like who doesn't like it. I feel like people who don't like, you know how people who are super sensitive to spicy food and they think Chipotle is spicy. I don't think Chipotle is spicy, but I know people who think it is.
Well, they're wrong. Yeah. Doesn't have to. One of the great things about Chipotle is it can be whatever you want it to be. He's never considered himself a cat person, but he once had a cat named Beans. I loved that cat so much. Okay, fine.
Not a cat person at all. We know you aren't.
No, I'm definitely not. I have 2 younger brothers named Nate and Pat, and we're each 2 years apart. My poor mom. Okay, fine. My first job out of high school was making fudge at Six Flags in my hometown of Eureka, Missouri. That's cute. I love fudge.
I don't.
You don't at all?
I thought that was really random.
Do you like sweets?
Love sweets. I just like, I don't know. I think that's so weird. Do you get fudge at a theme park?
I think it's just like a kitschy food kind of thing. I don't know. I love fudge.
I think I'm like used to, from being from Orlando, like the best theme parks. Fudge is not available.
Okay. My mom was an elementary school teacher, and 1 year she was my teacher. I didn't get away with not doing my homework. Must be a really small school for his mom to be his teacher. Like, was there not 2 classes?
I also was thinking about this, and I was like, would I let my kid get away with not doing their homework? Like, I'd probably yell at them, but I'm not going to like fail them, you know?
Well, at least he was like in elementary school, so he was very young for this.
Yeah.
He once went to an NSYNC concert with his aunt, and when he was a kid and cried because he was the only boy there. First of all, I don't believe that. Second of all, it's
definitely not the only boy there.
Not worth crying over. My rap name is Clay-Doh. No one ever spells it right. Who's spelling out Clay-Doh? Like what? Who's ever writing that?
Also, what does it mean?
I don't
like
know.
Play-Doh?
I guess.
You're spelling it wrong, Clayton.
Yeah. My biggest fear is being trapped in a small space.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean claustrophobia. Get it?
Very claustrophobic.
Okay, things are about to get weird. I once ate a piece of dog poop because I thought it was chocolate. I was 6. It was obviously disgusting. I mean, that's incredibly, incredibly, incredibly disgusting. This really
that's gagging.
Yeah, it like really grosses me out. I practice Spanish daily on my phone with the hopes of becoming bilingual. One day I'll get there. That's very sweet. I like it. He needs a Duolingo sponsorship.
Duolingo, that's what I need to get. My quick tangent story. My daughter is learning Spanish in school. She's 3.5. This weekend, I came downstairs and she was eating a bagel with my husband. And she goes, Mom, do you know how to say bagel in Spanish? And I was like, no. How? And she goes, bagelto. Like that.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so impressive. And I like kept going, on with my day, like made myself breakfast, sat down with them. 20 minutes later, Seth goes, hey Siri, how do you say bagel in Spanish? And I like looked at him and Siri goes, bagel. And we both look at my daughter and she just started laughing and like ran off.
That's really funny.
And I was like, wait, you just made that up? No one even asked you. No one asked anything about anything Spanish. Like she just completely made the whole thing up.
Your daughter sounds so funny.
Very funny. Very, very funny.
Okay, it's getting weird with Clayton. I once swallowed a quarter trying to clean it for my collection, so now I'm worth at least 25 cents. Why is he putting so many foreign objects in his mouth?
I mean, the poop is next level.
It's so disgusting.
A quarter, though? Like, how'd that go down?
I don't know. It's so
I've never
gross.
swallowed anything that big.
Me neither.
That sounds really bad.
Awful.
I was going to say I've never swallowed anything that big and hard. And I was like, whoa. I have never swallowed that like
I've never swallowed a
foreign
coin.
Object.
Yeah, I've never swallowed a coin either. I don't get it. Snowboarding is my favorite hobby that I never get to do. I haven't done it since I was 12, but I'm itching to get back on the board. It can't be your favorite hobby if you haven't done it in 16 years.
I saw a meme the other day that said, I hate when people ask me what my favorite hobbies are. Like essentially being like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, I don't know if someone asks you what your favorite hobbies are, what do you say? You're like, watching TV?
The true answer would be online shopping. It's how I spend all of my dead time. It's not even buying stuff. It's just like online browsing. And then
yeah, I think a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
Put it in your cart, X out.
Yeah, exactly. And then number 2 would be reading. Number 3 would be jigsaw puzzles. TV is like too close to work for me, which I'm lucky to say. But obviously it's how I spend the majority of my non-work time.
I guess reading.
Who has hobbies? I mean,
listening to podcasts. I don't like.
I know.
I don't color. I don't know. Cooking, maybe cooking, even though it's kind of work.
I was hanging out with my friend's kid over the weekend and we did some beading, made some bracelets. I had a great time. It was like very fun.
My kid is very into that right now. I can do that for 30 minutes. Do I want to do that for 30 minutes every other day? No.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't done it in years. So I was like, this is great. How therapeutic.
Yeah. That's how I felt about coloring. Like when she got into coloring, I was like, this is awesome. But now, no, I fucking hate it. I can't do it every day for an hour.
Yeah, it's too much. Okay, his favorite movie is Inception. This is just like such basic man stuff. Like get a little bit more creative. It's a good movie, I agree, but like, come on. I think
it's a lot of people's favorite movies, to your point.
Yes.
Yeah.
I go to the gym or on bike rides to clear my head. Again, very standard.
Normal.
I'm currently working toward getting my MBA. Okay, that's good. Good for you.
Didn't know that. Did we ever figure out what he does?
He is like a software salesman.
Okay.
I eat the same meal for breakfast and dinner 5 days a week, and I don't get sick of it. Homemade Chipotle bowls. Clayton.
Not for me.
Also, it's not Chipotle didn't invent like the burrito bowl or like the rice bowl.
It's just literally a burrito bowl.
Yeah.
Also, it's called meal prep.
Yeah, it's just like it's not Chipotle doesn't own that. Ozark is his favorite Netflix show. I was wondering if he has any streaming services outside of Netflix, though I do like Ozark, but no spoilers because I'm still catching up, getting ready for season 4.
He seems a little Betty Basic.
He's super basic, super duper basic, which I guess is fine. There's worse things to be, but
yeah.
The first mean nickname given to him by a neighbor was Clay Pot when he was 7. Nowadays, that would be one of the nicest things people are calling me. Are people really being that mean to Clayton that he has to keep playing into this?
I hope not, because he seems like a good soul. I also don't. Is clay pot a bad thing? Is it something I don't know about? What's clay pot?
I don't know.
Okay.
One of the biggest turn-ons for me is a woman who can dance. So perhaps he likes Shanae.
That's a super specific thing. That's outside of the box. I'll give you a point for that, Clayton.
Okay. Then I think he's about to lose one. I believe pizza should not be eaten without ranch. I mean, this is a very Midwestern take. He's from Missouri, so that's fine. It's just also
Do you think
like
someone wrote these for him?
He probably just was like in a car ride and someone was like, just tell us some things you like. And then someone turned it into like this.
Okay.
His guilty pleasure is candles.
Hey, that's not a guilty pleasure. I'm totally fine with candles. Is there a stigma around candles I don't know about?
No, and I actually think they're more popular for men than ever. I think it's like a lifestyle thing, like men are like into these days. This one's really weird. Before I went on The Bachelorette, I wore unfitted dad jeans. Now I wear tailored pants and fitted jeans. This is a big deal for me.
Good for you.
I mean,
the LA glow up has happened already.
Yeah, seriously. Where did he get his unfitted dad jeans before? Like Walmart?
Urban Outfitters?
Guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
I try to learn at least one new thing every day so I can become a better human being overall. This is a really great aspiration. However, I call bullshit because that's like impossible to learn one new thing every day consciously. Like,
yeah, but I like that you're open to learning, that you want to learn. I think that's attractive. I think like the urge for learning is attractive.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. A curious mind. Yeah, that's beautiful. I relate. Well, Clayton's like
by the way,
yeah,
love using that adjective for like name 3 adjectives to describe you. Curious is like top 3 for me.
Yeah.
Love saying it.
Yeah, of course. It's like one of the best qualities one can have. It's one of the reasons I love Ben Higgins. Very curious man. He's just always he actually is always looking to learn. I just love Ben. Hope he's having a happy married life so far. Well, Clayton is a basic bitch with a few twists, but you know, that sounds like pretty perfect for The Bachelor. So they found their man.
I think that's what we all needed.
I agree. Any new favorites after this week?
I don't think Sarah. Did we say Sarah? I don't think we said Sarah.
We didn't talk about
Sarah
her. Yeah, Sarah's good. I think Susie, if she doesn't win, is Bachelorette. She's got big Bachelorette vibes. Maybe it's because she looks like Hannah Brown.
Do Hannah 2.0. I think it's too close to Hannah after watching this last episode.
She seems a lot
but
nicer
she does
than
have
Hannah.
Bachelorette vibes.
Yeah, she seems like way nicer than Hannah. I don't think Hannah's that nice.
I'm talking about strictly looks.
Yeah.
They're twins.
Yes, they look so much alike. It's freaky.
It'd be basically like run it back.
Well, I think that's what they're into these days.
But maybe Teddy isn't as big as the front runner as I thought.
I think they were like hiding her because she probably gets a lot of screen time later, and she got a lot last week. So I think Teddy is still very much in the mix. The thing is, we had so much.
I still love her.
Yeah, I like her too. We had so much Elizabeth, Nene, and Cassidy that like it was hard to really get a lot out of anyone else. But that's great. That's what you want out of episode 2. Give us the drama. Give us these bonkers babes.
Yes, that is what we all want. I was so relaxed and happy watching. Like it was just nice to not have like any heaviness surrounding.
Totally. Back to being the frivolous show we've always wanted.
Yeah.
Great stuff. On Thursday, I'll be joined by ESPN's Mina Kimes, major Bachelor fan. And then we'll be back. I think we'll do an episode next week, even though there's no Bachelor. We'll talk about some other stuff. And then also next week, fingers crossed, a certain new host of The Bachelor may or may not be coming on this podcast. God willing. We'll see.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Thanks so much for listening. Thank you, Devon Manze, for producing this episode. Thank you all for listening, and we'll be back next week.